Hello, everyone, and welcome to our new podcast show. This will be the Markley Sportscast, and in this podcast, we will talk mainly on all sports, and that ranges from West Virginia high school sports. So you got football, baseball, wrestling, golf, all sports relating to West Virginia. Also talk many pro sports, so MLB, NBA, UFC, NFL. I also talk college sports, wrestling, baseball, football, basketball. And then, of course, we got the golf. Big news in golf in the recent weeks with the LIV Tour and the PGA Tour. And we'll be going over that in one of our segments. Also, a new segment that I kind of want to go over is our Mason Dixon Golf Tour. This tour is very dear to my heart. They took me in, and it's just a fun league to meet people and play a lot of good golf. So just to introduce myself, I'm the host. My name is Zach Markley. It's the Markley Sportscast. And with that, just a little bit about myself. I love sports, pretty much all sports. There's not a sport that I don't really love. Love to play golf, and that's pretty much about it for me. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, in our first segment, we're going to talk about that league that I mentioned in the introduction with the Mason Dixon Golf League. This is a league based on match play. There's three conferences. So you got an A conference, you got a B conference, and you have a C conference, and it's all ranged by handicaps. So your A's are usually your 0s to like 13 handicaps, and your B's are like 14 to 20, and then you got your C's that are higher than that. And you all compete each week. We play in courses in West Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. So it's a little bit of a travel league. Very fun, very laid back, with that competitive edge as well. I, as your host, I am in the A conference, so I'm in the top conference. I worked very hard to get there, and real quick, since we're on video, I will show you. Last year, I ended up winning my conference. I was in the B conference last year. I had a little bit of a higher handicap with B's. So that's where I sat, was in the B conference. And in that B conference last year, just to rephrase for last year, I had one loss the whole entire year. We had 13 or 14 events. One loss, I went in as the 1 seed in the playoffs and ended up winning. It came down to the last hole. I was actually down going into 17. I won 17. And then that put us all square, and I won on the last hole to hoist that trophy. So that was a lot of fun, a lot of nerve-wracking, a lot of shaking. But I'm proud that I won that. But my prize was, hey, you got to move up to the A conference now, where the good golfers are, very good golfers. And it's been a lot of fun so far this year. Like I said, it's based on handicap. So with that, we'll kind of recap so far this year. We've had 5 events, or 6 events counting this past weekend. It's been, like I said, it's been real fun. I want to first congratulate one of the people in our tour, good buddy of mine, Eli Poston. He got a hole-in-one a few weeks ago at Rolling Greens. It's his first hole-in-one ever. It's pretty exciting. Secondly, so far in the standings, and I'll kind of just run through them just a little bit, just so you guys get a gist. So in A conference, we have Carl Weber III, which is the president of the league. He's in first place in A. And then yours truly, myself, Zach Markley, is tied for second with John Gower, very good golfer. Then in third place, we have Buck Gower, which is John's son. Fourth is Dustin Robinson. Fifth, Carl Weber II, which is our president's dad. And then Matt Saffron and Mitchell Pegg. Pretty good group of golfers there. And then in our B conference, we have a female who's very good at golf. I played with her this weekend. She's very good. and very fun to be around. Leah Thomas, she's in first by a long shot with 18 points. Second's Doug Gower. He's the brother of John and the uncle of Buck. Very good golfer. That's who I ended up beating in the championship last year, coming down to that last hole. Then you'll have Joe Folman, very good golfer, and then Wesley Weber. And then round out the top 5 there is Jay Lancaster. And then in Group C, for your top 5, you have number 1, Noah Markley. That's my brother. He's kind of cruising to a C conference victory. He's doing very well. He's playing very good golf right now. 2 is Kevin Sackett. 3 is Kevin Amos. He is the champion of last year in Group C. 4 is Roy Kreider. And then 5 is Austin Nicholson. So that's just our standings so far for this year. And like I said, we're 6 events in. We got 4 events left. And then we, of course, got the playoffs. So a total of 6 or 7 events left. And this is every Sunday, or every other Sunday mainly. So next, we'll talk on our last event. So our last event was at Rocky Gap in Maryland. Very fun course. That is our weekend getaway trip. We usually, like I said, just play every other Sunday. Last weekend, we ended up playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday's just kind of a fun round. For myself, we hit the ball pretty well on Friday. We shot in 83. Not really where I wanted to be, but the greens were tough. And as your host, I'm telling you right now, I love fast greens, and those greens were just too slow for me. So we recorded an 83. We had a couple double bogeys that we shouldn't have had. But other than that, an 83, we escaped with it pretty good. Saturday was our team event. Very cool. They kind of do it like if you follow the PGA Tour, they do it like that. They do like a Ryder Cup, so to speak. You have Team Red, Team Blue, and then you have 2 captains. I was fortunate enough this year to be a captain because after our event number 4, I was in the lead, me and John. So that was your 2 captains, myself and John Gower. We picked our team. We had a pretty solid team. And like I said, I'll just run through what our teams were. My team, and I was Team Red. My team was Matt Saffron, which is a 2 handicap. Leah Thomas, which is a 16 handicap. My brother, Noah, which is a 27 handicap. And then we have Mark Metz, Roy Kreider, Carl Weber, Billy Chandler, Wesley Weber, Josh Darnell, and Randy Christopher. So what you do is you match each other up. I'm not going to go through the matchups just to save time, but we matched as the 2 presidents of the Cup. We matched our team. Myself as the host, I played with Matt Saffron. He's a 2 handicap, probably the best golfer in our league, especially if you go by handicaps. Very good. I played on a team with him, and we played Buck and John Gower. Buck's second best, but he definitely could be the first. Very good. We ended up in the team event. Team Red won. Woo! Let's go. So we won as a team. There were 6 matchups. My team won 5 of them. The only loss was myself. Buck and John Gower shot -7 at Rocky Gap. Me and Matt shot -2. Therefore, we lost 5 strokes. They played really well, and hats off to them. And just real quick to touch on it, they had a family member pass away this time last year as they were traveling up to Rocky Gap, and his favorite color was tie-dye. So Buck, John, and Eli got matching tie-dye polos for their Sunday round. Very cool scene, and much respect to them, and much respect to the Mason Dixon group. It's like I said, it's a fun group. Then Sunday, we had our regular match play event, and like I said, I ended up losing last week at Alpine. Carl Weber III, so the senior, the dad. We had a back-and-forth match the whole entire way. Once again, Alpine's greens were very slow, and I'm not very good with slow greens. That's my downfall. I need to get better with them. We got the hole 18. I put it just past the green, went to the fringe. He put it below the bunker. So walking up to that green, I felt comfortable, and I felt like, we're going to get this win. We are tied. We are all square going into 18. I'm like I said, behind the hole on the fringe. I chipped up about a 6-foot par putt is what we needed, and I got it up there. Weber chipped it up past the bunker, and he had about a 26-foot putt for par. So then I felt better. It's like, well, he's probably going to 2-putt bogey this, so we could walk away with the win. Obviously, he went first because that's how it is in golf. If the farther away goes first. Well, he ended up sinking that putt for par, and I had a 6-foot putt for par to tie it, and at least get some points out of it. It's not going to be a loss or a win, but it's going to be a tie. Well, I missed my 6-foot putt, so I bogeyed the last hole, and he parred it. And like I said, we were tied going into that, so I did suffer my first loss of the season. But just to go over this year for me, played really well. My first event, I shot a 75. I won that match. My second event, shot a 78. We tied that match. I tied with John Gower. He also shot a 78 and sunk a 35-foot putt to tie it. The third event, I also tied with my opponent. I shot an 85. Not very good, but I couldn't keep the driver in play. The fourth event, I shot a 78, and I won. The other guy shot a 79. And then event 5 was the one I was telling you about where I didn't putt well. I ended up shooting an 87, which is not very good for me. I like to be, kind of in that low 80 mark. Event 6, Rocky Gap, which is the one we just had this weekend. I ended up winning pretty big over Matt Saffron, which is our best golfer. I shot an 82, which is very good for that golf course. That golf course is extremely tough. So to shoot an 82, I was proud of that. Especially, in the team event, I did not hit the ball well the first 3 holes. I actually had 7 lost balls in 3 holes. So I had to rely on my teammate a lot. Then, of course, we turned it around, shot 2 under. So not a bad little event. Our next event is at Duck Hollow, where I will be taking on Buck Gower in match play. Very good golfer. I actually got the caddy for Buck last week in the West Virginia Open. So that was really cool, neat experience. Buck's a really good friend of mine. Love his family to death. So I do have to play him. He's very good. It's going to be a very interesting match. He's going to have to give me some strokes based on handicap, but like I said, he's very good, and it should be a very great match. Okay, and then before we move into the next segment, I want to talk about another golf thing that I'm doing at Tigert. I actually had to go against what I would say is the number 1 golfer in the state in the first round. It's a match play event. It's a bracketed tournament. I ended up beating him. I shot a 77. So I ended up beating him pretty good. I moved on to the next round where I took on John Gower at Tigert, and this is not a league play thing. It's just a Tigert match play here locally in Grafton. Shot a 76, I think, versus him, or 79. I beat him. So now we have moved into the semifinals, which will be played this week or next week, against a very good golfer that doesn't have a lot of misses. So it's a double elimination. I have not been beat yet in that, so hopefully things will go smooth and we could get another dub and get into the championship and get a good prize for that. Okay, guys, so for our second segment is the most interesting segment of the day we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Live Golf, which is the new golf tour that Mr. Norman, the Shark, has kind of created, kind of founded. He's kind of doing it. And it's based out of Saudi Arabia, which we don't need to get political, but we know all the bad things that they've done to America. But it's based out of that. So it's a pretty interesting feed, and it's an interesting ordeal that's going on between the PGA Tour and the Live Golf Tour. So just to explain it a little bit. So the Live has a ton of money. The first event winner, his whole year in the PGA Tour last year, made $2 million less than the purse that he won winning the first Live event. So that just goes to show you how much money this Saudi Arabia-backed league it has in their pocket that they could pay. And a lot of golfers are seeing that at the pro level and the PGA Tour, and they're trying to make that switch. And it's definitely been a debate for a very long time in the last couple of weeks of what you're going to do. What are you going to do? What is PGA Tour going to do? Are they going to be punished? So we're going to just talk about it. I would like, you guys to email me. That email is Markley, my last name, Markley, 23202 @gmail.com. And I just want to see what you guys think on all of this. And I'll read it on the air next time we go live. Okay? So, with the Live Tour, like I explained to you, there's more money, a lot more money. The second thing is there's no cut. So there's no cut in this, like you see in the PGA Tour. They have missed cuts. There is no cut in the Live Tour. And then it's only 3 days long instead of 4. 4 days is in the PGA Tour. And then they do a shotgun start. That's pretty much the big differences. And, of course, it's based all over the world. They go to Portland, Scotland, everywhere. It's backed by Saudi Arabia, but they kind of go everywhere. So, with that, players that left the PGA Tour that we know of, first and foremost, Dustin Johnson going for $250 million. That's a big price cut. I mean, if somebody puts $250 million in my face and says, hey, come to this tour instead of that one, I'm probably going to it. Bryson DeChambeau, Kevin Na, Brooks Koepka was a big one. I'm a huge fan of Brooks Koepka. He's probably my second favorite golfer of all time. I love Brooks Koepka. He's very competitive. He has a great mindset, and I really appreciate him. I'm a little bit surprised because of his comments he made at the Open, and then he kind of followed his little brother and went to the Live Tour. So that's just some players that's left. If you want to know my personal opinion on all of this, I don't, so to speak, back the Live Tour. Number one, I don't agree with it being backed by Saudi Arabia. And I don't agree. I don't think it's golf. I don't think a shotgun start, 3 rounds, no cut, especially the no cut thing. I feel like, that's not even a competition. Why are we not having a cut in golf? You should have 70 plus players in there and have a cut. Then the other big thing I don't like it being 3 days. That's not golf to me. I want it being 4 days. I want to be able to sit here on my TV and watch Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the Masters. There's nothing better than that. So I don't agree with the Live Tour. I will say that, with all that money, I don't necessarily blame players for going over there to play. But at the same token, I get it. But I don't think they should be able to. Now, as far as the PGA Tour is handing out suspensions, fining them, I don't agree with that either, because they're allowed to go play on the European Tour, the Senior Tour, and then come and play the majors. So I think that's a little bit of a double jeopardy or a, counter negative. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me on why they're going to fine them for that. I mean, at the end of the day, they are playing golf. So, question for the viewers, and this is where I'd like you to, kind of email me and let me know who all do you think will leave the PGA Tour and go to Live. I know there's a lot of talks about people. I know they offered Tiger Woods like a crap ton of money, and he did not take it. But how many more golfers are they going to offer? In my personal opinion, I think it's going to be bad. I think a lot of golfers are going to leave. And I was talking to a buddy on the way up to Rocky Gap about this same topic. And he was telling me, like a Justin Thomas, a Jordan Spieth, a Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, those guys are still in their prime. They're not going to go to the Live Tour. And, after thinking about it, I kind of agree with that. I don't think they will go to the tour or to the Live Tour. I think it'll be their time to shine in the PGA Tour now. Some of these guys have left, like Brooks, DJ, Bryson. All those guys have left, and they've went to the Live Tour. So I think the PGA Tour, new young guys are ready to make a name for themselves. Like Dustin Johnson, all those guys have already made that name. So you don't really blame them for going to the LIV. And my next question for you viewers is, should the PGA Tour allow them to play in the major tournaments? Once again, I believe yes, they should. It's an absolute, it's golf. At the end of the day, they should be able to play wherever they want. They're going to go chase the money. So the PGA Tour just came out, made it like a new little FedEx thing where there's no cut trying to compete with them. I also don't agree with that. Like, just play your brand of golf. Don't stoop to them. It kind of looks like, oh crap, we're in trouble. So we're going to do this to try to keep our golfers with us. So I do think you can't let Brooks not play in the Masters. You know what I mean? Like, I do think they need to allow that. Because at the end of the day, it does bring revenue in for the PGA Tour, which in return could make these guys higher paid. So yeah, just let me know your thoughts on that. Like I said, this first little episode is pretty much all golf related. Just for now, it's just a short little podcast just to get things back up and running on the pages. I used to do this in the West Virginia All Boys. I had a co-host with me. I no longer have that, so I'm just by myself. So it's, instead of me rambling on the whole entire time, I'd like you guys to fountain in. I'm going to have some guest speakers on the show. That's my plan. Okay, segment 3, we will talk about golf again. The PGA Tour just wrapped up the Travelers Cup, Travelers Championship, I guess you could say. Scotty Scheffler ended up winning. We were on our way back from Rocky Gap. We had it on the Sirius XM radio. We were listening to it. It was pretty intense. Theogla birdied 17 to take the lead over Schauffele, and Schauffele was, of course, behind him, so Schauffele heard all that. Pretty crazy events, and Theogla, I really wanted to win. If you guys remember, he was atop the leaderboard at the Masters. He was very good, very young, and calm and collective. That's what I like about him. I was really hoping he could pull it out. I do like Schauffele, but what makes this interesting to talk about is Theogla drove it into a fairway bunker on 18. He's up one stroke. Schauffele's behind him on the tee box. He drove it into the fairway bunker. He gets up there. Now, mind you, all he needs is par, and then that makes Schauffele have to birdie. Well, his caddy was telling him, hey, man, just, lay up, get out of this fairway bunker, because he was on the slope of the bunker, and it was in a very shitty lot. Very shitty. But he gets in the bunker, and he tries to go for the green. Kind of whiffs it, but not really. It was just how it was lined up. Didn't get out of the bunker. So now he's hitting 3 on a par 4. Still in the bunker. So then he finally does what he should have done in the beginning. Lay up. Hits it. Short of green. So now he's, on his par putt. Or on his par, and he's not even on the green. He's not even putting yet. So he hits it up. Okay, you get bogey, you'd be tied with Schauffele. Hits it up about 4 or 5 feet. Goes to putt it. Rims the hole. Lips out. So now he double bogey. So now he's one shot under Schauffele, and Schauffele's standing on the tee box watching it. All Schauffele has to do is par. Heck, he could bogey and force a playoff. Well, Schauffele hits it down the middle. He plays it safe. And he puts it tap-in range for a birdie. So Schauffele ended up winning the Travelers. But my question for all the viewers, and once again, email is my last name, so Markley, Markley, 23207@gmail.com. So my question to you guys, in that situation, especially a young guy, are you scoreboard looking at that point? Do you know that Schauffele is one stroke behind you now? And how does that affect each shot going up that 18th hole? So I'd like to know your guys, as my viewers, thoughts on that. I know for myself, I've kind of experienced, obviously not at a PGA Tour event, but in myself, you're coming up that last hole, you're tied, you're down 1, you're up 1. You have to at least get a par on this hole to force anything. and it's very nerve-wracking. But is it nerve-wracking for pros that's been there or not? Personally, I think it is, and Thiago's very young. He should have laid up, but he felt comfortable in his golf swing because he's been swinging it well for 4 days. So he felt comfortable to be able to get out of that fairway bunker. Unfortunately, he didn't. Therefore, he ended up losing the match. He got second place. So just curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Okay, we're going to wrap up here. Got a few minutes left. My last topic I want to talk about is the ESPYs are coming up. And I just want to know everybody's personal opinion on who you think the best athlete right now in golf is. Who would take home that ESPYs for the best male athlete golfer? Personal opinion, the great year that Scottie Scheffler has had, I think he deserves it. Guy didn't win anything, and he's won like 4 of the last 6 events. Made a lot of money. He's played a lot of great golf. Even in these tours, like he was up at the top of the leaderboard last weekend. He's been there. So, in my personal opinion, I definitely think Scottie Scheffler. But you as the viewers, who do you think? We got Spieth, we got Thomas, Rahm. Anybody stick out to you guys that should win that male athlete of the year for the great game of golf? Let me know your thoughts. And like I said, this was just a first episode, 30-minute episode, just to get back into it. We'll definitely be talking more topics. Like I said, my email is markley23202. And you guys could, at gmail.com, and you guys could feel free to reach out to me, talk to me. If you want to be a guest, email me. We'll see what we could do to get you as a guest on the show. That'll be a pretty cool adventure. And let me know what else you want to talk about. I know the NBA Finals just ended a few weeks ago. I know the NHL Finals just ended last night or the night before. So there's a bunch of stuff we could talk about. Golf. Just let me know your guys' thoughts. Thanks for tuning in. And Markley Sportscast is out, and we will see you all in the next one. Thank you.